Hello. Hey guys, good evening. Can you hear me? Can you respond in the chat? Are you able to hear me? Can somebody confirm that? Am I audible? Hello. Hey guys, good evening. Can somebody respond in the chat? Am I audible? Hey, we will wait for another 3 minutes and then we'll begin. So, meanwhile, everyone can post from which college they are or their name, and that will be fine. I will just, meanwhile, I will type something about myself. Let us wait for 3 more minutes and we'll start at 8:05 sharp. Okay, so someone is from VIT AP University. So I will write my own college name. So if somebody can see me, I am with the name of Ashok Priyadarshi in the chat. So I am from VIT Mesra. I passed out from there. Anyone from? Okay, Jabbar from VIT Mesra branch is here. Okay, Jahid. Okay, Wales Silicon Institute of Technology. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Cool. There are people from Chennai, Jaipur. Okay. So there are people from all over the country, right? Okay. The best part of being an engineer is that we are all united by technology and are divided by states, but united by the technology. Correct. Despite of being people from different gender, age group, and the thing that is common between engineer is the problem solving ability and the contemporary technology. Okay, cool. Okay, so meanwhile, what is the best thing about engineers? Can somebody comment out? Like, what do you think that, what is the best part of being an IT engineer? Mm-hmm. I'm waiting for some interesting answers, like anything. Even you feel something that is funny, that is also fine. What is the best part of being an IT engineer? And when I was in college, the best thing what I used to think is we can get free T-shirts, right? That was the best part I can think of. Free foods in attending workshop. Yeah, using laptop all the time. Yes, we can. That is the best part. Like we can say that we are working and still we can have fun. Yeah, no, the best thing. Yeah, the best thing to be in IT that we can communicate across the world with people of means different domain, different region. Yeah. Okay. Okay. There's someone from Colombia here. Oh, okay. Work from home. Yes, Rohit. Work from home. So it's already 8:05, and I guess most of you are here. So let us start. So first, briefly, I'll introduce myself. Who am I and what we do and all those things of stuff, and then I will get into this. So first, let me just brief about the workshop. What is this workshop? What should you expect out of this workshop? Like, what should be your expectation? Right? There are many people who have joined, so they must be having some expectation out of this workshop. Like you're putting some of your time and effort here. So this is basically a language fundamental course on Java. Okay. So so what I'm assuming is that all the people who have joined here have no or minimum knowledge about Java. They have absolute no familiarity with the Java technology. So by the end of this workshop, what you are going to have is you will be familiarized with the Java coding environment, syntaxes, and how to proceed ahead. I will try to cover till oops. That is the if you understand of the rest of the things you can easily build upon, and the basic syntaxes like how the Java, what is the grammar, the basic grammar of Java. programming language have some grammar in it, right? On top of it, it is built. So, so let me put it very clear. The objective is to just make you very comfortable with the Java coding environment and syntaxes, and to teach you OOPS in Java. So this is the advantage. And what I'm expecting from you all is that you don't know nothing. Just you have, since you are interested in programming, so I'm assuming that you have just good logical thinking ability, or some of the people have some minor coding expertise, like some minor, like basic C, C++, or whatsoever it is. But just a basic brief about the programming language, what is programming and what they can achieve using programming. So for the next 5 minutes, I will brief you about myself, my company, and what we do and why this workshop. So I am Ashok Priyadarshi, one of the co-founder of Floxus Education Private Limited. Okay, so you can basically find me on LinkedIn. I'll share my LinkedIn profile with you all guys. So if somebody wants to connect me, they can find me here. So I have shared my personal profile with you all. Like if sometimes you want to connect with me, or even you want some sort of guidance, you can like communicate with me anytime. You can ping me anytime. Okay. So that was my profile. So I am one of the co-founder of the Floxus Education Private Limited. So the next thing what I'm going to talk about, what is Floxus as a company? So basically, Fluxus is basically a tech-ed system. This is basically a complete ecosystem that we have built, where we train you like the technical skills, the mindset. But this is not like a common technical tech platform that you see around. This is basically based on product development mindset, how to build scalable things, and how to get into the absolute minor details of the things that are of great importance in your development journey. Okay, so you can follow us on this using this link on the Floxus page. I'll share the link with you all guys. You can reach out to any one of the people who are the admin of this page. You can follow us for the more details, more workshops, even some of the job opportunities we are posting. And one more announcement is that we are currently looking for people who are good at UI UX. So if in the crowd if there is someone who is really good at UI UX, can ping me or can ping any of the co-founder. So that was the thing. So you can find a lot of informational things here. In this page, there are regular updates upon various technology and rest of the thing. The next thing is also about our Instagram page, where you can also follow us, reach out to us. There are we keep on sharing some of the goodies, some of the contests here. So you can follow us. Let me copy the link of the Instagram. Okay, so so you can follow us here on Instagram as well, and we are on rest of the platforms as well, like Facebook, Twitter. But the most important thing about us is we are mostly a community driven people. So if you have any doubt, any career guidance or anything, or even you have some bugs that you are like you are stuck somewhere in some minor bugs, or even you want, if someone is not much clear about what he should do in how he should proceed with his technical journey, this community is really powerful. I'm talking about the Fluxus community. You will find everything here. Like if there are various type of people. There are people who are SDs at various company like Wealthmint, Tata Click, Fastmail, Microsoft, Google. So there are this is really a very powerful community of the people where if you post some of your doubts, you'll get surely answered. Like, so I'll share the invite link, and I am putting this in invite link to expire for never. So do join if you means. I believe I means I will insist you to follow on rest of the places, but I'll force you like to please join this community. Okay, because this is really beneficial for you all. Here you can find all sorts of doubt clearance things and even career guidance in or in rest of the things here. This community, and this community is absolutely free. Even if you want to contribute some of the things, you can also contribute. Okay. So one more last thing that I'll tell you about Floxus, Floxus's new product called as Unbound. Okay, so this is in a you can say a pre-beta phase where we are building an platform called as Unbound. So this is totally a product. This is totally you can say a hands-on training based things where there are a lot of practical projects, lot of challenges on various technologies. This is a you can say pre-beta phase. We will giving a full beta launch in the coming month, most probably mid of the September. But meanwhile, you can find lot of challenges here. So basically, the challenges here are right now of web development and UI UX development, and some of the challenges are of machine learning. Okay, very soon we are going to come up with lot of challenges, and with this challenge, as you keep on proceeding, we'll get you certified, and there will be job openings, and the freelancing arena will open up. So very soon you'll come to know about it. So this is one of its kind thing where you'll find everything, right? You practice here, you complete the paths. With the continuous development, we open the freelancing thing for you, or the job portals for you here. So very soon we'll coming with a full beta release very soon in the coming months, most probably by the end of the next month. Okay, so I will share the link. Do test it out and criticize the platform with best of your ability, because we are putting lot of effort into its development. Okay, so I'll just share the link with you in the chat. Okay, so let me put the Unbound link. So here there are lots of challenges. You can only log in with the GitHub here. Okay, so do go onto the website, check this Unbound thing here. I'll try to pin it up in the message. Okay, uh, and do criticize it. We are open to criticism. Do practice it. Try to find bugs. We are put it in the community thing. Okay, so this was all about me. And Giridharan Giri, we will talk about the attendance, man. Don't worry, we'll take the attendance. Okay, so this was just a brief about me, myself, the company, and the product that we are going to come up. Now let us get delve into the Java thing. Like so, now let us be. Since some of you have Giridharan has pointed out the attendance, so don't worry about the attendance. There will be some guy, some of the moderator from us who will be giving you all the details in the group. So don't worry about the attendance. Focus on the learning. Okay. So let us see what are the things that we are going to. I have already told you about the objective that we are going to. What is our objective of the workshop? And let us quickly see the what are the topics that we are going to cover in this workshop. So, so here are the things. First, we are going to understand what is Java. Why is it so popular around the world? Like it started 2 decades back and still ruling the IT world. The most of the microservices and the financial services that you see around yourself are built in Java. So we'll look into it. Why is it still so popular? Then we'll see the language features. Like what are the things that make Java so popular? What are the things that makes it so unique? And we'll study about the grammars of Java language, that is identifier, um, keywords, data types, that the literals, typecasting, how we convert from one data type to another, some of the basic operators, then arrays, and the most important thing that is Java keyword is popular about the OOPS, object-oriented programming language, and the types of variable and the main method. So here are the some of the rules for the online bootcamp. That is, the 75% attendance is mandatory. If you want to like attend the workshop, attend it. If you want certificate, there will be some criteria that you have to go through, and one of them is 75% of the attendance. And don't worry about the attendance. Some of the moderator will post the things about it. Okay, so and I guess yesterday I have shared the installation thing with you. I believe that all of you have installed Java and have set the environment. Okay, so that was one thing, and have tried one of the program where I have told you about parsing, taking the values from command line. Okay, so let us start with Java. What is Java? So Java is basically a programming language. Very simple with it. But you can say Java is a technology because Java is more than a programming language. Okay, somebody is saying that screen is not clear. I guess there's something wrong with your side. Try to increase the resolution. Okay, and okay, so let us talk about what is Java. So Java is basically a programming language. You can say it a technology because it is used in very diverse field and you have multiple editions. Okay, so let us first understand the we you have heard a very peculiar things around people talking about this is called something called as advanced Java. This is called as basic Java. So we'll clear all those doubts today. So there is nothing called as advanced Java, basic Java. These are some of the terms that are coined by the people around you, but there are basically three editions of the Java. Okay, primarily if you see the documentations, there are three editions of the Java. The first one is called a Java Standard Edition, the other one is called Enterprise Edition, and third one is called as Micro Editions. Okay, so we'll just have a quick overview about the thing. The first one is called as Java Standard Edition. So the basic Java that you use, that you learn in your college. So, so the Java that you learn in your college and the most of the codes that are written are basically the Java AC, something called as Java Standard Edition. So this is the minimum prerequisite. Anyone who wants to start his career, to build his career on a Java or Java-based technology must master this, something called as Java Standard Edition. Okay. The next thing is called as Java Enterprise Edition. So let me be very clear with the enterprise. What is enterprise? So enterprise are things basically you can say the web services part where the transactional things that are based on Java. For example, I'll give you a very simple example. For the e-commerce thing that you see, the ticket online booking system you see, all the major web services based thing that you see around yourself are a part of enterprise applications. That because there are a lot of people who use it at the one time. So these all are, there are some specification and the capabilities to define something called as enterprise. Will not get into the details of it, but you can think of it as a huge system that accepts the multiple users that from which you communicate over the web. Okay, and where we communicate with databases. There are huge operations going on, are the part of Java Enterprise Edition. So I'll give you an example of Java Enterprise Edition thing. I'll show you. So let us there is a very famous framework called as Spring Boot framework. Okay, if somebody wants to be a backend engineer, might have, or even in your, if you are all developers, right, you all are IT guys, so some of you have might heard about this Spring Boot framework or Struts framework. Okay, so these all are things that are used to build like web-based things in Java. So these all are part of Java Enterprise Edition. Okay, but these all are, but whatever you see a Java Enterprise Edition things are built only on this Java Standard Edition, and all the logics that you see, all the logics that you write in on this framework are basically based on this Java Standard Edition. So this is the prerequisite thing that you must master if you want to make your career based on Java technologies. Okay, the next thing is one more edition of Java is called as Java Micro Edition. And this is a very interesting thing. Actually, the advent of Java into the market came from this only, Java Micro Edition. Uh, Java was actually built by Sun Microsystems, and they basically use Java initially for the DTH box that you primarily see in your house. So long back, they use this language only to write the entire logic for that D2H box. If you see the history of Java, there are people who are actually James Gosling is there. So if you see his original videos and some of the other contributors video, you'll see that why they came up with this. So basically, the initial small systems that you see, the ATM card that you see, the card API, the set-top box things, they all are primarily built in Java. And you know the most famous mobile framework, Android, like the Android and operating system that is based on Java, that is based on Linux kernel, has most of the things developed in Java. Though now the Kotlin is the official language, but primarily it was built on Java. Okay, so this was the thing. Now let us talk, since we have known more about Java, Enterprise Edition, Micro Edition, I will quickly talk about the career perspective, right? If you learn Java, what are the things? How can you like move ahead with the things? If you learn Java, what next? Like now we all want to be engineers, but if I learn Java, what are the things that I can do? So okay, so as per my, this is my bias thing. So there are two primary things that you can easily pick up when you learn Java. The first one thing is something called as backend development, I guess. So backend development frameworks, Java. So you will find the first thing that is written is the Spring framework. Okay. So this is a, you can say this is a enterprise edition thing. Uh, and this is a Java framework, especially built for backends. So all the popular backend services that you see around in the world, most of the financial services, booking systems, everything are written in Java frameworks. Java framework. Okay, so this is one of the very popular framework for backend development. So this is entirely based on Java, and this is very trending technology. So this is one of the things that you can pick up after learning the basics of Java, and it will pave your path to become a backend engineer. The another thing is, from my view, is the Android development. Okay, so Android development using Java. So this could be one of the very trending field. You can directly pick up after learning Java. Android development. There might be people who had doubt that might be having doubt that we can do Android development using Kotlin. Yeah, sure, you can do it. But if you learn Java, learning Kotlin will be a very easy thing for you. Okay. Even the Spring framework that you see back around supports Kotlin and Groovy with it. So, but learning Java will make your fundamentals very easy. Like if you build your fundamental using Java, especially the OOPS thing and rest of the thing will become a very powerful. Okay, so this was just a brief thing about the careers perspective. The two things that I said you, there are a lot more things, like there are Swing Java where you can make a GUI based application, but these are the two major domains. You can quickly pick up things if you learn the Java standard edition. So whatever the things that we are going to cover in this workshop are primarily based on this Java standard edition. And believe me, my friends, this is the minimum requirement to begin your journey in a development side, if you want to pick up any Java technology. Okay. So let us now quickly discuss the some of the features of the Java. What are the features of Java? So the first and the most important thing is Java is an object-oriented programming language. Okay, so I'll tell you one of the quick hack about it. Whenever someone asks, this is a very common interview question: is Java 100% object-oriented programming language? No, Java is not 100% oriented programming language, but it supports object oriented to a greater extent. There are some of the features of the object oriented that are not implemented in Java. For example, Java does not support Java still supports primitive data types. So if somebody is not able to understand what I'm saying, hang on for some days, you will be very easily able to understand what I'm saying. So Java is an object oriented programming language, but it's not 100% object oriented programming language, but it supports most of the features of the object-oriented programming language. So we can say Java is an object-oriented programming language. The second thing is that Java is a platform-independent programming language. So what do we mean by platform independence? So it doesn't depends on what type of machine you are running it. Either it is a 32-bit machine, 64-bit machine, doesn't matter, right? We'll have a in-depth session on it, or else I'll post a recorded video about how Java is a platform independent programming language. So if like I'll give you an example. Let us say that you wrote a program that works on a 32-bit machine. Now predominantly most of the machine that you see around yourself is a 64-bit machine. So there is no basically we can say conflict of the thing. But like 3-4 years back, there were machines that were 32-bit. Okay. So if you wrote some of the program on 32-bit machine, if you try to run it on a 64-bit machine, it is not going to work. In the other programming language like C, C++, because of the memory specifications of the variables and the data types that you have covered, But Java supports this. Like it doesn't matter on what sort of machine you're running it, it is going to run perfectly fine. The next one is a multi-threaded machine. Multi-threading means we can run sub processes, some of the mini sub processes concurrently. Okay, so Java supports multi-threading. The next one is robust. Robust means, I guess if there is some C or C++ programmer in the house, they have known about the pain that they go through while writing programs using pointers. I guess most of the people are haunted by the pointers. So, can I get a cheer for those who know about pointers? And I got, and some of the guys who got haunted with pointers. Like pointers are really a tough thing, isn't it? Like initially when we start picking up pointers in C, C++, it is really tough. So anyone in the house who can give cheer me about C, C++? Okay, so there are people who are giving it up for the pointers, right? So in Java, don't worry about the pointers. We don't have pointers. Actually, I'll tell you, if it doesn't support pointer, how is it robust? So what happens is any pointer can point to any memory location. So basically C, C++ are mostly hardware-oriented programming language where you can play directly with the memory location. But Java is predominantly a developer-friendly language. So what they did is they didn't supported pointers. Okay, so that is one thing. And the next thing is auto memory management. If you remember, if somebody know about C, C++, it's fine. If doesn't, no worries. So what I'm saying is that if you remember writing linked list sort of thing where you are allocating some of the pointers and memory, and if you have to free it out, you have to write like free and that particular pointer variable. But here you don't have to worry about the memory thing. Like you declare variables, you declare rest of the things, and the Java will take care about the memory management, like what are the things that you have to kick it out from the heap, and rest of the things, like you don't have to free any variables or any class is unused. So the Java will take care of its memory management. Yes. Okay, so let us go about secure. Why is it secure? Since Java does not support pointers, so there is no way to, like, pointers can be very dangerous. Like there could be some dangling pointer who might point to some of the memory location that contains some confidential data. So what it happens is Java has strictly uh, kicked out pointer from it. So there are no chances actually to bypass the security dilemmas there. So that is why Java is used by most of the financial systems that you see around. If you see most of the company like Morgan Stanley, basically finance-based company, you are definitely going to see Java as one of the thing in their tech stack. So this is the reason. Okay. Okay. So let us go ahead. So these were the basic language features. Okay. So okay, so let us go ahead now. So basically, I will be using Eclipse as an editor. Um, since I gave you a task yesterday where you had to run the Java program using command line, but now you are free to use editor of your choice. So basically, there are so many editor in the market. So there are two very famous that people use for Java development. One was the Eclipse, Eclipse for Java. So you can download it from here. If you search it on the Google, you will straight away find it. And other one is IntelliJ. IntelliJ. Okay, so IntelliJ ID. Uh, it is free for students. If someone have a GitHub account, so they can use VS Code is also fine. VS Code is also fine. But if somebody have a developer account, like GitHub provides student developer pack, so you can actually use IntelliJ, IntelliJ, the commercial edition they have, not the community edition. And you people are free to use any editor of your choice, but these two are preferably used for developing Java thing. If someone has VS Code or Atom, anything, they are free to use. There is no objection, no shortcomings of the thing, but these two are quite preferably used, those who are into Java development, Eclipse and IntelliJ. So I'll recommend to use any one of this. If somebody is comfortable with any other editor, they are good to go with it. Okay. So now, so we'll start here. So basically, I'll create one of the project here. So let me create one of the project. File new Java project, and let us say what is this? This is day one, day 01. Oh, sorry. Day 01 Java workshop. So I'm just going to create this. So as of now, I'll create just a simple class in SRC. Let us go to SRC source and let us create a package, and let me write a com.fluxus. If somebody don't know about the this package, don't worry about it. A package is just like a folder. Uh, Basically, we should use a foldered structure to save our files. This is a good development practice that you should follow. Right? Always group your classes similar. Okay, so we can group similar things, similar sort of classes here. So let me just create one of the class and let me write it as main. Let me write it like this, and let me put this here and finish it. Okay. So let us discuss a bit about these things. What are the things that are here? Okay, because this is really important, the code structure. So let me take my pen up and let us see what are the things that are here. Okay. The first line that you see here, something called as package com.fluxus. So basically this is our package name. So this is our package name, or you can think of it as a folder name. Okay, so this is our package name. I don't know why this pen is not working fine. Let me take the eraser and just this. So you can see here com.fluxus. So this is my package name that we created, and inside it we try to create a class. So to run a Java program, we must have at least one class here. So we have named it as main as of now. So the main is customly provided by us. So whatever you see in this highlighted, we can say blue sort of color are predefined by Java, and rest of the black things what you see here are actually defined by us. Not all the things, but if you see the highlighted things, these are sure short defined in Java, and these are their keywords. We'll learn about keywords very soon. Okay, yeah, I got somebody said that I have to enlarge my text, and that is quite true. I have to do it. So basically, let me do one thing. Let me take a snippet of this and add to current page, and let me enlarge this. I guess this works. This looks fine to you. I just took a snapshot of these things from the Eclipse, and let us discuss things here. So if you see that, this is the common structure of a Java program that you are going to encounter if you want to run it. The first one that you see here was the package name that we have created. This was actually the, let me take a more bit bristle here, and this was the, this is the package name. Okay. The next thing you see here is public class main. So this is the class main. Okay, so this is the custom name that we have provided. Very soon we'll learn about what is, why do we need a class to define, and rest of the things. The important thing is focus on this thing, this public static void main. So if you want to run any Java program, this main is required. If you want to run any Java program, you will need this main. So this is the predefined method. Okay, main, and this is the predefined return type for it. We'll discuss about return type, what is return type. Just now focus on this thing. Okay, so if you want to run any Java program, you need to have this main, and this main method should have string args as a parameter. So if you guys have practiced yesterday's assignment, you might have learned about why this is a string argument passed here, and we try to print it there. Okay, so if so any Java class that have main is called as executable class. So this main is actually the entry point from where your Java program loads up and runs. Okay, so if you want to run a Java program, you must have main, and all the Java classes that have main. If you see your public class main, all the classes that have main are called as executable class. So let us say if you build a huge Java project, so one of the class must have this main to start to load up everything, right? So basically what happens is that whenever your Java program runs, uh, the compiler runs for actually search for this main method, and this becomes the entry point. So this is my entry point from where the entire execution begins. Okay, so this was just we'll discuss these things in great detail because I will be writing code there. So just I gave you a brief overview about the things, like what are the things that you are going to see. So just remember, the takeaway is that if you want to run a Java program, it is mandatory that one of the class should contain a main method, because whenever the compiler runs, it search for this main method. Okay, so now let me go back to my desktop. I don't know how to increase its size. Zoom in. Okay, I can. Okay, so there are editors, and then zoom in again, one more zoom in, I guess, and that will be fine for you guys. Zoom in. I guess the editor is also quite visible to you. Okay, so let us start with the fundamentals. Let me go to my notes. So don't worry about the notes that you're seeing on the screen. This will be made available to you all. So focus on the learning part rather than just wondering about the notes. I'll share the entire notes with you. So this is a community program, so don't worry about the notes. Just focus on the things that are delivered. So the first thing what is written here is identifier. So before getting into identifier, I'll tell you about all the program. You can if you compare side by side the programming language, you can compare programming language to any grammar, Hindi grammar or English grammar, anything. So as in grammars, we have alphabets and we have predefined rules, right? We have all the parts of speech and we have sentence structure, right? If you want to write something, that has to be subject, then verb, then predicate, right? In the similar fashion in the programming language, if we want to define anything, we have something called identifier. And there are some predefined things in this programming language that is called as reserved keywords. I'll tell you why. So every programming language is meant to deliver some logic, and we try to develop all that logic based on some rules and the predefined things. Okay, so let me go here and let me erase the screen. I don't know how to erase it entirely. Okay, so what happens is if you compare side by side things, so let us compare a programming language with I'm really sorry about my bad handwriting. Unfortunately, I have a very bad handwriting, so uh, I can't help you out with this. So if you compare programming language with grammar, any grammar, Hindi or English, so in grammars, what do we have? We have some alphabets, correct? We have some parts of speech, and we have some grammar rules, isn't it? Similarly, in programming language, we have something called as reserved keywords. And these all things are provided by the programming language itself. So in Java, we have around 52 keywords that are that are already given by the Java, the developers of the Java. Using that, all these things, we try to build our logic, and I can think it of as a Lego bricks that we combine to give something a very meaningful sense. So these are called as reserved keywords. These are all predefined in Java. Okay. And the next thing that we're talking about was identifier. So I'll give you a very good example about identifier. So basically, if you go to my profile, I have a photo there, and there is a name associated with it, right? I shared my LinkedIn profile with it there, and if you see here, this is me, and you identify this my photo with my name, Ashok, isn't it? So actually, this Ashok stores the value, this body, this human body, the photo, right? Actually, this Ashok is the identifier for whom? For me, correct? So in similarly, in Java, if you want to identify anything like any variable, any class, any level, any method, they has to got some name from which you can identify. Okay, so if we focus on that, if we go back to our console, the Eclipse console, let me go to my Eclipse. Where is it? Okay. So here you can see we have written something called as public class main, correct? So there's something called as class, right? We are trying to identify some class with the name called as main, okay? So there is a class which is called as main. So this main is actually an identifier, okay? Because we have provided this name and we are trying to identify one of the class with what? With the name main. If you see this main method, there are some variable passed to it, and those are identified with the variable name given as args. Okay, so if you remember studies task, so we were trying to pass, right, hello world, hello Floxus, correct? That's command line argument. All those variables were identified using this args, this that we have provided when we were trying to print it, correct? So identifier is something from which we actually point a reference to any variable, any name. We'll know about what is a variable and rest of the thing. As of now, understand identifier. So if you want to recognize anything, we'll use identifier. We are not getting into, somebody has commented that stored memory addresses. Yeah, they do it, man. They do it, but we'll not go to the memory representation. As of now, we are studying the analogy part, so that it becomes easy for you to identify things. We'll get into all those things. Okay, so let me go to my notes again. Why is it not coming up? Stop, and then let me erase the entire thing from here. So I'll give you an example of how identifier works. So let us say I want to store some value. Let us say I want to, store my name. Okay. So my name is Ashok. But I want something that points to this Ashok. Okay. So I want to store this value called as Ashok in something. So I want something to point at this Ashok. So first thing is that the first and the very so let me give another example. So whenever a baby is born in our family, right? So think of it of his or her nomenclature. The first question, what do we ask? Either he's a boy or a girl. Similar question is here. What sort of this Ashok is? So this is basically a string. Okay. So we'll come to this string. What is this string? Like this is the type, like what type it is, like our gender, like male or female, right? If a baby boy is born, like a male boy is born, we name his like let us say any name like Vishnu, and if a girl is born, we name her as Lakshmi, right? Based on the type. right? Correct. Similarly, here, what we are trying to store? We are trying to store a group of characters. And this is basically called as string in Java. We'll come to string. What is a string? Okay. So, so think of it as like this is the data type. And since we need 2 points, this was its type. And along with the type, we need a name, a identifier to point at it, the value called as Ashok. So I'll give it the name as user name. So username is equal to Ashok. Okay. So now again think of it. So this was the identifier that we provided. Okay. To store what? To store a group of characters that was like something Ashok. So this is basically pointing to at this Ashok. So in Java, if you want to like define identifier, you previously need to think like what it is going to store. Okay, the type. So what is this Ashok is going to be? So basically this Ashok is a stream of the basic group of characters. So basically what we call a group of characters, a string. So we define the data type, the identifier, and then the value is stored in it. Okay. So did you give me a thumbs up if you understand what an identifier is? Give me a thumbs up. Or if somebody didn't understood, then also they can pin in the chat. Give me a thumbs up. I'm waiting for it. Okay, so I'll go ahead again then. Okay, so remember the analogy that I have given you, the nomenclature of your child, right? Uh, that what is it and what are we going to call it? So this is basically called as identifier. So basically our name, if you compare it, we all our names are identifiers, right? So basically the soul that is contained within us and the physical appearance are referred by our name. So basically our name are called as identifiers. So now let me go back to the screen again, the notes part. Okay. So let me clear the screen and okay, so let us get back to the notes. So there are few rules that you have to follow, abide by. So these are Java is, remember my friends, Java is all about remembering the rules. As you long as you play by the rules that are developed by the Java developers, the Java language developers, you are good. Mr. Goodai, don't worry about the attendance, buddy. We all have our moderators. Yeah, you have to, of course, you have to use your identifier, your name for the attendance, but don't worry about it. So there are few rules to define the identifier. So let us look into these rules. So Java only allows all the lowercase, the uppercase, the digits 0 to 9, and there are only two special characters, that is underscore and dollar, that are permissible for defining an identifier. If you use anything other than these allowed characters to define an identifier, no, Java will hang up. No, guys, this is not permitted. So remember, these lowercase, uppercase, the digits, underscore, and the dollars are only permitted to write the Java identifier. Okay. If you use anything other than that, we are going to get a compile time error. The next and the important rule is that you cannot start identifier name with a digit. So in Java, you cannot say a very cannot name anything as 00 or some username. No, you cannot do that. Cool. So you cannot start identifier name with digits. This is not allowed. The next thing is that Java is a case sensitive language. Case sensitive means the upper A, the lower case a are totally different. The writing user as a capital user, let me go to this Eclipse. Okay. So if you remember, okay, one more thing, if you see the double slash on the screen, this is basically used for writing a single line comments. Single line comment. This is for single line comments, the double slash. And if you see this, this is for multiple line comments. So basically, when you run the code, these all things are going to get ignored. Okay. So now If you remember the rule number 1, what was it? Only the allowed characters are A to Z, capital A to Z, 0 to 9, and underscore and dollars are allowed. No other characters are allowed. The rule number 2 is that you cannot start the name of identifier using the digits. So no digits at starting. Oh, sorry for the typo. No digits at starting. Okay. So you cannot start. We'll see the example. Just I'm defining the rules now. So you cannot start the identifier name with the digit. These all things become illegal. The next thing is Java is, oh, sorry. Java is case sensitive, which means this this Ashok and this Ashok are not same. Correct. These two are not same. So the uppercase behaves as a different identity, the lower one behaves as a different identity. Okay. So the let us go to the next rule. The next rule is that we cannot use reserved keywords. If you remember the class, the starting one, so what I did say, see Java built in it, isn't it? On top of which we have Okay, the next thing is that in Java, there are some predefined classes, interfaces. Very soon, you'll encounter all those things. So you can use all those things for writing identifiers, but it is not advisable if you, as a good developer, these are not good practices. There are so many predefined classes, interfaces in Java. You can use it to use, you can, if you want, you can use it as an identifier, but it's not a good practice to use all these names of class names and interfaces as identifiers. Okay, so here are some list of the questions. Can someone tell me? Let us number it up. Okay, 1 and then 2, and can you guys comment out which one of them is valid and which one of them is invalid? Which as an identifier, as you have right now, you have learned about the list, isn't it? So can somebody tell me which of them is permissible and which one of them is not permissible? So I will try to put, I don't know how to copy this. If I'm able to, I'll put it. Like, can you all see my screen? 1 to 8. There are 8 identifier. So can somebody tell me which one of them? Tell me which one of them are not valid. Which one of them is not valid? The invalid ones. Okay, 1, 4, 8 are valid. Yeah. Okay. So let us discuss each one of them. So if you see that the first one is Floxus to share. So this is valid since this is valid because the number that is coming is in between. Okay. The another one is 100 and Floxus. If you see at the starting, we're starting the name of the identifier with 100. So this is not permissible. You cannot start it, correct? So in the third one, why is it invalid? Because starting, what we are trying to do is we are going to starting with a number. So basically you cannot do that. The next one contains at the rate. So only permissible is underscore and dollar, correct? So this is not valid since at the rate is used here. Okay. The next one is also valid because we are using underscore at the beginning. The next one is also valid because underscore and dollar are permissible. Okay. Hash Floxus is not allowed. Why? We are using a correct character that is not permissible for identifier. Right. So this is also not valid. Okay. The next one is int. Is it valid or not? It's not valid. Why? int is one of the reserved data types. This is one of the reserved keyword that it is a data type basically. Okay. Okay, cool. So last one is integer. This is valid. This is valid since integer is a wrapper class. Okay. I know most of you don't know about wrapper class as of now, but integer is a class. If you see the rule, all predefined Java class names and differences names we use as identifier, but never ever do it. And this is not a good practice, man. So never ever use any predefined classes or interfaces names as identifier. Okay, so the next thing is we are going to learn about the reserved keyword. Since we have learned how to write the identifier, how to point at something. So let us now, let me go back to my screen. Okay, so if you remember the analogy, right? If you remember the analogy, how does a baby boy or a girl who is born in our family is named? First thing what we ask him or her is, what is the gender, right? If it's a male or a female, we have a different rule for it, right? It's really uncommon that a male boy is named as a female name or a female girl is named with some boy name, correct? So right now we have learned the rules of how to write the name, right? How to write those names. Now we'll learn about, basically we have learned about how to write the identifier. If you remember the logic, we have learned about how to name. Now the next part is did what we are pointing at, what actually these identifiers are pointing at. So we will learn about it. We will learn about what are some of the reserved keywords in Java, on top of which we are going to develop our entire logic. Okay, so let us go to this reserved. So before diving into reserved keywords, I will share one of more hack. See, there will be situations where there will be no tutorials available on the YouTube. There will be very few people with the knowledge of that particular technology. Let us say any new programming language comes into market. So there are people who put their effort in learning that and trying to create the video, correct? So basically, it's better to learn the documentation. Learning documentation can teach you a lot more things. So if you go to Google and if you search here Java documentation, so you'll find a very good detailed documentation about the language, right? And trust me, this is the best teacher of the Java. Okay, so if somebody wants to learn Java and doesn't require any help, they can go to this docs. I don't know why is it not opening, but you can go there and you can learn about the Java documentation thing. So I'll share just simply search Java documentation on the web and you'll find a very good detailed thing about. Okay. So let us go into now let us get into this keyword thing. So let me define what keyword is. So actually keywords are predefined things and have unique meaning and functionality in Java programming language. So these keywords have like some special thing associated with them. Okay. These reserved keywords cannot be used to name variables, methods, or any other identifier. Okay. So actually, this is the embedded link for the Java documentation. If you see here, there are the list of the reserved keywords that are available in Java, like abstract, byte, case, catch. If you see here, here is something called as class. See, if you remember my console of the Java programming, there was something called as class there, right? There was something called as public there, right? If you remember, let me go to my. If you see here, there are some like package, public, class, static, void. These all things are keywords. These are all reserved keywords in Java that have some special name and functionality attached with them. Okay. So let us quickly see some of the okay. So let us see some of the quick overview about what are the reserved keywords in Java. So basically there are 53 keywords in Java, and There are two unused keywords now. We don't use it. That is goto and cons, and rest all the reserved keywords we use. These two we don't use, and I have never explored why they are not used. If somebody finds it, like they why don't they use it now, they can find me and they can post it on the community server. Okay, so we have 53 reserved keywords in Java. Correct. So now let us quickly see the breakdown of these keywords, what they are used for, and we'll see the examples in the next class. But today we are going to discuss uh, what purposes they serve. The first one is for the data type. Okay, so if you remember our analogy, right, we are trying to name something, we are trying to identify something. So if you remember, we used identifier to store my name. Actually, it was pointing to it. So these all are data types, right? What type of data are going to store? Computer programs is all about storing data, correct? So there are these 8 types of data types here, like byte, short, int, long, float, double, char, and boolean. So these all are data types that are used to store the different values here. The next, these are 11 that is used to flow control. Flow control means there are some optional things. There are some flows. If you want to keep on iterate something, we want to repeat some same logic. If you want to do some switching sort of thing. So these all are 11 keywords which we use to perform all these operations. These all are modifiers. Modifiers basically controls the accessibility of the class and the variables and the methods. So we'll discuss these all 11 key modifiers in detail. Okay. Actually, the entire oops thing is based on this. If you understand all these modifiers very well, uh, it is really very easy to master oops. Okay. So there are now these are the 6 keywords that are basically for exception handling. Mm, Exceptional handling is one of the best. This is actually one of the required skill if you want to be into development, right? How are you going to prevent your code from breaking down? So these are for the pipes. These are for keywords for the classes. So I guess you remember we have used these two, class and package. If you remember the code that we shared on the console, and these are for objects, new, super, and this. And go to and const are reserved and they are currently not in use. So this was just a brief overview about the keywords. So we'll discuss about rest of the thing from the next class. Okay. Okay. So in the chat in Spanish also, please. I'm really sorry. I don't know Spanish, right? I'm Indian guy, and the language that I know are Hindi, English, and some of the German, right? But I don't know Spanish. I'm really sorry. Audio sounds. I will look into this, like how can we do this. Okay, so this is all for the day. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed my class today, and we'll catch you back on the same time tomorrow. Okay, and if somebody liked or didn't like, do let me know in the comment. Okay, I'll share the notes. Don't worry. There are moderators in my group who will share the notes with you all guys. Meanwhile, keep coding, enjoy Java. That's it. Enjoy your day. Good night.